What's up, YouTube world, and welcome back to my channel. And if you guys are new here, thank you so much for stopping by. My name is Athena and my videos are all about lifestyle content and now motherhood content, and I'm really excited for today's video because I'm going to share with you guys my labor and delivery / birth story. But before I begin, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell for notifications so you're notified every time that I upload. My baby is sleeping, her dad is taking care of her if she does wake up. I pumped this morning so she can feed from a bottle to give me time to film today's video. Okay, so where to begin? Well, I guess I'll start by sharing with you guys that I just gave birth to my beautiful baby girl. Her name is Zena. She was born on January the 10th and my due date was January the 8th, so not too far off from my original due date. I also have everything kind of written down, little bullet points, so I don't forget anything. I'm also going to be inserting clips from when things were happening in real time into this video, so you can kind of see visually what I'm talking to you guys about as well. During my entire pregnancy, I never had any health complications, and Zena was always thriving.
The measurements right on, the heart rate's right where it should be. Now it's just a matter of waiting.
Never had anything to really worry about. I actually was with the midwifery as well. I have 3 midwives on my team. So my due date was on January the 8th, and I remember on January the 6th, that was my last midwife appointment. And at that appointment, I wanted them to check me to let me know if I was at all dilated, just for me to mentally understand where my body was at. But at this particular midwifery, they actually don't check you until you're after your due date. So I just had to be patient and let my body do its own thing. I remember being like worried because I really didn't want to have to get induced. I wanted to go into labor naturally. So I was doing all the things even after my midwife appointment to try to naturally encourage my labor. I remember I was doing exercises on my pregnancy ball. I was eating pineapple. I was eating dates. I was taking some red raspberry leaf tea. I was looking at taking like a midwife's brew, which I didn't. For those of you who don't know what a midwife's brew is, definitely Google it. I found out about it on TikTok. I didn't do it, but I was thinking about it. I even got acupuncture, which, by the way, I think acupuncture, I went for it twice, and I think getting acupuncture was the thing that actually really helped the most, because on the 6th, I had my midwife appointment, but I also had an acupuncture appointment. The 7th is actually when I started feeling early signs of labor. Okay, so yeah, on the 7th, I wrote down in the morning, nothing was happening. Tomorrow is my due date, but I do not foresee baby girl coming tomorrow. Definitely not, because I'm not feeling anything. I'm not having contractions. I'm not having any Braxton Hicks. I didn't lose my mucus plug that I'm aware of. My water didn't break. Nothing has really happened. And then the evening is when things were starting to percolate. In the evening, things were starting to get a little bit real. The early signs of labor have potentially started as of last night. Last night, I experienced lightning crotch. And
what's that?
It's like shooting pains up your vagina. Literally had shooting pains up my vagina and so much pressure and back pain. And then after that, just all night long and all morning, experienced like period cramps. And now I'm experiencing like surges of these period cramps. So we just started tracking it on the app, because I don't know if these are just cramps or they're contractions. But we'll see, because today is supposed to be my due date, so...
Tomorrow.
No, today, the 8th. So I knew that things were definitely starting, but I knew that I wanted to keep myself distracted. Again, I knew it was going to be a long process, or it could be a long process. So what did I decide to do? I decided to go grocery shopping, clean my house, cook some meals. That way, after I gave birth, I would come back to a clean home with food in the fridge. And yeah, so that's exactly what I did. So I'm literally contracting in the grocery store. Like, I'm literally getting contractions right now. Oh, if this is the beginning of labor and I have a long way to go, which it is, I'm like, what is active labor gonna feel like? Like, I'm honestly shook, because this is already so uncomfortable and it's just the beginning. So it is 2:38 in the afternoon. What felt like period cramps is starting to really feel like mild contractions. And they are just coming, they're coming frequently, but I definitely am not in active labor. I'm probably like 1 centimeter dilated, if anything. So I know this is just the very beginning, but I'm happy they haven't petered off. Like, they've continued from last night, this morning, and then all afternoon. It's getting real. It's getting real. So, any thoughts?
We're almost there. We're almost there. We're so ready, honestly.
When do you think she's coming?
2 nights on the 10th.
Last night, I started getting intense contractions and was timing everything. And this morning, same thing, intense contractions, just doing things to help me to kind of just feel comfortable. But the contractions are real, and I'm so shook because right now I'm still waiting for the 411, which is them to be 4 minutes apart, 1 minute contractions for consistently for an hour, and that has yet to happen. They're still inconsistent, but they are strong. And I'm like, how much longer of this until I pivot from like early labor into active labor once the 411 hits? I have no idea when that's gonna happen, but I hope it happens soon.
Last night was just, it was hard. For you, seeing you like suffering.
No. From the front. From the front. Huggy. When you think it doesn't get any more painful, your pain threshold naturally just progresses as well. And what you didn't think you could take, you start to realize you can take more pain than you thought. And I was getting contractions all day long.
Having a really bad contraction, guys. Really bad one.
I think it's done.
How bad was that?
They're just like, they're just all bad.
This one is strongest. I think this is the second time you cried. Is it just strong person, boo-boo? You're a soldier. Keep fighting, the more world is there.
Contractions were definitely getting stronger, but they weren't at the 411 pattern in which they needed to be for me to be able to call my midwives. To get to that point, I felt like it was taking so long. I was using my contraction tracker, and it just all throughout the afternoon I was just in so much pain, but yet it wasn't hitting that pattern, so I couldn't reach out to my midwives. I knew I just had to wait at home, let my body do its thing to be able to get to the point to make the call to get myself to the hospital. Fast forward to sometime in the evening, my contractions were getting so intense I needed to go into the shower to get some sort of relief. Just the water pressure and the heat of the water was really helpful. I asked my friend to come over to my house so she can support me, and asked my partner to take a nap so then he'd be able to support me at the hospital before things got really intense. Finally, my contractions, they were at the 411 pace in which they needed to be, so I could finally call my midwife team. And guess what? They don't pick up. Are you kidding me? So she hangs up, we leave a message, ask for them to call us back. We call another midwifery team and they also don't pick up. So that's a few different attempts to call my original midwife team, and then we call the backup midwife team and they also don't pick up. I'm like, what is going on right now? I need to get someone here now. Someone needs to check me. I need to make sure I'm given the green light to get to the hospital.
Athena, I'm here with you right now. You're getting checked by your midwives. You may potentially be able to go to the hospital. I am so excited for you.
You'll be bringing with you. It is first come, first serve, and we have a limited number.
We were given the green light to get to the hospital. So we're driving there, and tell me why I forgot my health card. We're on our way to the hospital, 8:45. Just got checked from the midwife. Some 3 centimeters dilated. My water hasn't broke. I haven't lost my mucus plug-in, which I'm aware of. But they can feel the baby's head. She's in great positioning. She's nice and low. And my cervix is nice and loose, whatever that means. And so we're getting the good to go to the hospital. We were on our way. Now we had to stop and turn back because I forgot my wallet. So I'm waiting for the wallet in between contractions. And then we'll try now round 2 to get to the hospital. Oh. So we got to the hospital around 9, and by the time I got my epidural, it was 12:15. So I had to wait like 2 hours and 15 minutes for the drugs, and it was excruciating. I literally thought that I was going to have to give this baby out, like push the baby out naturally, because by the time that they checked me, I was 7 centimeters dilated. So I went from 3 or 4 centimeters at my house to 7 at the hospital, waiting for that time for the anesthesiologist to come. And again, I was just mentally preparing myself. I'm like, I'm gonna have to give this baby out naturally. Luckily, the anesthesiologist, she came. I felt like a dream. She arrived like a knight in shining armor. And honestly, I couldn't even tell you what she was saying. I couldn't tell you anything. I was not even afraid of the needle at all at this point.
The back is all covered in tape. December was quite busy. So pass me your pillow.
And I was just ready for the drugs. And so by the time that she poked me, it didn't hurt. To me, it didn't hurt at all. It just was like a little prick, very bearable, even though I actually just saw that the epidural they put into you is very, very long. I had no idea how long it was. After I got the epidural, it was like night and day. Oh, I could breathe, I can see, and I got hooked up to the monitors and everything. I can see the contractions were going by, and I could barely feel them. And I was able to rest for, I think I was able to rest for just a few hours. And it was just a completely different experience. At 10 centimeters, it was time to push. Now, it was interesting because I was not scared to push at all. I was just ready. And so I'm pushing, and you know, I was reading pregnancy books, and I took like a birthing course. And when you're actually in the moment, at least when I was in the moment, it's like I forgot everything I had learned. The only thing I remembered, ironically, was not from the books I read or from the course that I took. It was actually from a really quick YouTube tutorial I watched on how to breathe and the different like breathing techniques during different stages of pushing. While you're pushing with epidural, at least for me, all I can feel was pressure and no pain.
That's it. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Good. Okay, change your breath.
And I would even tell her, I'd be like, okay, I can feel something's happening, let's push. So after 2 hours of pushing, my contractions, they were not lasting long, and they're actually spread out pretty far apart from one another. My midwife ended up asking me if I was interested in taking some Pitocin. Pitocin is a chemical version of like oxytocin. I remember not wanting Pitocin at all. That was not even something I thought I was ever going to need to take, but I ended up agreeing to it just to help to speed things along. So I ended up getting Pitocin, and that seemed to help just a little bit, but not enough, because after being on the Pitocin and continuing to push, my midwife said that she wanted to bring in the OB on duty to get a second opinion. They were getting a little bit worried about the baby's heartbeat. They ended up having to get an emergency vacuum, and the reason is because the baby's heart rate dropped, and then eventually they couldn't see her heart rate on the monitor. An emergency team runs into the room, the lights go extremely bright, and then the OB's like, okay, you know, we're going to have to vacuum this baby out. Basically, in a blink of an eye, my circumstances changed from it being, you know, relatively peaceful. into, you know, emergency mode. So I ended up crying and I get emotional, and I was like, well, I want to do what's best for the baby. If they can't hear the baby's heartbeat and it's dropping, or they can't see it at this point, of course, yes, do whatever you have to do to get her out. But I just wasn't really mentally prepared for that. I never expected having to do any sort of emergency anything. And so all I felt was a crazy ton of pressure. No pain, just a lot of pressure. After I started pushing for a very short amount of time, then next thing you know, baby Zena, she came to the world and she was here. I didn't get to hold her right away. Right after she came out, they ended up whisking her away to, you know, do their thing and make sure she was okay. So I didn't get to do skin to skin right away. I didn't get to see her right when she came out. They ended up wiping off her vernix, which is what I really wanted to keep on her skin longer. I wanted that to be able to soak in. That didn't end up happening. I obviously wanted to be able to do skin to skin right away, right when she came out. That didn't end up happening. Also want to do a delayed cutting of the cord. I didn't want that to be snipped right away. That didn't end up happening. I wanted my placenta to come out naturally. That didn't end up happening because all those things did not end up happening. The opposite happened, and it all happened really quickly. It was a lot, and again, it happened so quickly. I didn't have a lot of time to process it, and the more I think about it, the more it kind of just like hurts my heart a little bit to think of how things were going one way, and then all of a sudden my, you know, birth went to a completely different experience. Because of the vacuum, I ended up tearing. I got a 3rd-degree tear. I'm gonna have a whole other video about postpartum and my recovery journey, but I did get a 3rd-degree tear. So just like all of these things were happening that I didn't really prepare for. I just never thought that any of that was going to happen. But you know what, at the end of the day, my baby, she is happy, she's healthy. When she came out, there was no health complications with her. We stayed at the hospital for 24 hours and they kept an eye on her and on myself, and both of us got dispatched from the hospital because we were both fine, thank God. So eventually when they brought her back to me and I got to do skin to skin with her and I got to see her for the first time, it really is true what they say. It's like love at first sight.
Little baby Zena. She's here. She says hello to the world.
Hi, baby.
Hi.
She's just chilling there.
So far, what we can tell is I hope their eyes don't change because they're currently hazel, which was my #1 dream, and it happened. #1 request of a Build-A-Baby was the eyes. Good job on your eyes coming through, Juanito. You're gonna get more melanin, right?
Babies always come out lighter and then they get darker as time goes by, yeah.
People gotta know, you know, she's mixed. People gotta know you come from the best of both worlds.
So this is baby Zena. She just woke up from a nap, so she's probably gonna start crying because I gotta feed her. Little ZZ. Are their hats falling off? Hi. Hi, it's okay. Shh, shh, shh. It's okay. It's okay. Zena officially arrived. At what time did she arrive at, Boo? 4:36 in the morning, January the 10th, weighing, how much does Zena weigh? 7 pounds, 4 ounces. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell for notifications so you're notified every time that I upload. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.